Michael Cohen is lying. He's a weak person, and what he's trying to do is get a reduced sentence. We were thinking about building a building. I decided ultimately not to do it. Even if he was right, it doesn't matter, because I was allowed to do whatever I wanted during the campaign.
He is afraid of the truth and doesn't want Mueller or anyone else to uncover it.
If anything the president has said is true, that there's no there, why are all his closest associates being found guilty of lying about their ties to Russia?
Surprised us, but we're told that the White House knew about it Wednesday night. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein knew about it on Monday, that Michael Cohen was going to appear in court and plead guilty to lying to Congress. U.S. versus Michael Cohen, court filing. Cohen made false statements to both the House and Senate Intelligence Committees to, one, minimize links between the Moscow project, this is the Trump project in Moscow potential, and individual one, Trump, and two, give false impressions that the Moscow project ended before the Iowa caucuses in the very first primary in hopes of limiting the ongoing Russia investigations. The Moscow project was discussed multiple times within the company and did not end in January 2016. Instead, as late as approximately June 2016, Cohen and individual two, believed to be Felix Sater, discussed efforts to obtain Russian governmental approval for the Moscow project. Now, back in January of 2017, President Trump tweeted this. He also talked about it, but he tweeted this: Russia has never tried to use leverage over me. I have nothing to do with Russia. No deals, no loans, no nothing. Let's bring in our panel. Former White House Press Secretary Ari Fleischer, Susan Page, Washington Bureau Chief at USA Today, and Molly Hemingway, Senior Editor at The Federalist. Okay, Ari, your impressions of today, how significant, what it means for the president and the Mueller investigation.
Well, you know, as Charles Krauthammer used to say, this feels like a cover-up of something that is not a crime. There is no underlying issue here that would require somebody or make somebody think they need to lie. What difference does it make if this project ended in January of 2017 or January 2016 or June of 2016? So when Michael Cohen lies about it, what's the purpose? What's the motive? And I can't see any motive here. Why would he do it? There's no underlying crime. There's nothing wrong with a president. It may be unsavory for a person running for the president to do business deals abroad while they're running for president, but it's not a crime.
Susan.
If you want to know whether President Trump thinks this is a serious issue, just look at his response, which has been quite agitated. And he clearly thinks this is a serious story. And I think there's a big difference between January and June, actually, because by June it was clear that Donald Trump was going to be the Republican nominee for president. And at that time, his personal lawyer is reaching out to a Kremlin official for help on a private business deal at a time the Russians are also have a concerted effort to meddle in our presidential election to hurt Hillary Clinton and help Donald Trump. That is a web that is being revealed by Special Counsel Mueller. It's not over yet. This isn't the last disclosure we're going to have, but it seems to me that that is a troubling that's a troubling context to look at today's plea deal.
Molly.
It's just worth remembering that the special counsel was set up to investigate treasonous collusion with Russia to steal an election, not to investigate whether Donald Trump is a global businessman and was doing business in the year 2016. It is good, though, to hold people accountable for lying to Congress. It is a very bad thing to do. And it's been unfortunate that we've seen so few people held accountable for lying to Congress, even in this Russia story. For instance, Christopher Steele, who built the entire Russia dossier, was referred by the head of the Senate Judiciary Committee almost a year ago because they knew he lied to the FBI. Glenn Simpson gave testimony. He's the guy who was hired by Hillary Clinton to set up the whole Russia story. He gave testimony that was at odds with what Bruce Orr gave, meaning that one or both of them lied to Congress. So it's important that everybody be held accountable for lying to federal officials. It's not even just them. You look at James Clapper, who lied to Congress about spying on everyone, John Brennan, who lied to Congress about spying on Congress, Hillary Clinton, who lied about whether she knew how classified systems worked in her interview with the FBI. So holding people accountable for lying is a good thing. It should be done overall.
Sure. Donald Trump's not, at the time, January 2017, under oath, as he's tweeting that he had no ties, no nothing, no loans, obviously. He's not under oath when he's telling the reporters that he had nothing ever to do with Russia.
But he didn't have business deals with Russia.
Well, it didn't develop, but it was being discussed as it continued on until June, as opposed to January. My point is that Is there something here as far as money? You know, we don't know. Deutsche Bank did a lot of his deals. They got raided for the Panama Papers today. There's no tangential. We don't know that it's tied at all. But if there's a money link here, is it beyond then lying to Congress and it's Russia holding something over Donald Trump's head?
But I think you just used the magic words we should all abide by. We don't know. We don't know. And the problem I have with this town is when people don't know, it doesn't stop them from talking. They make the worst accusations they can make against people in public life who they do not like, even if they do not know any of the underlying facts, is what Senator Schumer did today, which is what Senator Warner did today.
But I'm saying to you, I'm asking you, where potentially could it go?
I'm not willing to speculate because only Bob Mueller will know that. And I don't think any of us should try to put ourselves in Mueller's shoes and speculate it's one way or another. If Mueller's got the goods, Mueller will deliver the goods and will judge at that time. If he doesn't, this town owes Donald Trump a huge apology for 2 years.
And is there a sense, Susan, in this town that it's coming to a head, that it comes before Christmas, perhaps?
I think there is a sense that Robert Mueller seems to be closer and closer to making a report on some aspects of his investigation. His investigation is not going to end then, but the aspects involving President Trump most directly that we've been so curious about. Something else is going to happen in January, and that is Democrats in the House are going to gain the power to have hearings and demand testimony and subpoena documents. And the question you just raised about did Russia launder money through the Trump Organization, that's been one of the things that's been speculated about. That is a specific issue that Adam Schiff, the new chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, said today he is going to start pursuing as soon as he's able.
Molly.
We don't start with finding, we don't say, here's the person, find me the crime. We look for crimes and then we determine what should be done about it. And there has been so much crazy speculation without any evidence of a crime. And yet we actually have evidence of all sorts of criminal things, like criminal leaking of classified information against Trump officials, lying to a FISA court, all sorts of problems like this that aren't even being worried about by people who think, well, if we just keep digging, maybe we can finally get Trump. How about we deal with actual crimes and start investigating those?
All right, I'm going to play this protection of Special Counsel Mueller. First, from the minority leader now, Chuck Schumer.
This idea that we don't need to pass legislation to protect the special counsel because there's no way President Trump will interfere with the investigation is flat out absurd.
Our job here should be to protect Robert Mueller so that he can do his job. And he can do his job not for him, but for the American people.
Bob Mueller has been left alone. I think he's going to continue to be left alone. If I was really, really stressed about Bob Mueller, I'd do something. I'm not worried about Bob Mueller.
All right, the president has said he's not firing Bob Mueller. Matt Whitaker has said he doesn't have any plans to get rid of Bob Mueller. But there is really an effort on Capitol Hill to protect Bob Mueller.
From what? I mean, if Donald Trump and Acting Attorney General Whitaker were threats to the Mueller probe, then why did Bob Mueller get the plea agreement with Michael Cohen? He had no problems getting that. No one's interfering with him. No one's cutting his budgets. No one's even going to say you're laid off in case the government closes down. So it's an unconstitutional move in the first place, which is why I oppose it as somebody who used to work in the White House. Congress does not have the power to tell the president you can or cannot fire somebody who is an inferior officer in the executive branch. So it's unconstitutional. And I don't know how you can say you're trying to defend Bob Mueller and the Constitution by passing an unconstitutional law.